Hey.
Hi.
So, I'm finally doing this.
I know. I'm so shy.
I know. I'm also shy as well. So, people say it's awkward that I would say I'm shy, given that I'm supposed to be a pastor or something like that. But yeah, I'm also shy, and yeah, I'm sure we'll be okay.
Okay, so this is the part where we're supposed to say, welcome to whatever channel. But guys, we're literally doing this and we don't even have name. We haven't set up anything yet. So we can't tell you welcome to whatever channel because we don't have a name yet. But we're doing the do.
Yeah, we are obeying the call.
Okay, so today we're talking about, so today actually is our 10 years trad anniversary. So tomorrow is our, I don't know, it's the same thing. Today,
Yeah.
tomorrow, trad,
Yeah.
16 wedding, right? So
Yeah.
anyway, it's our 10th
Family will
year.
talk about that.
Yeah, I think we should. So it's our 10th year wedding anniversary. So we want to do a video and we want to do a video on 10 things that we have learned during the course of our marriage. And we're not going to go ahead and introduce ourselves because we're probably going to share this with people who already know us, so there's no point.
Okay. I mean, it might be helpful to go do because I guess whenever you post this, our names will be. But yeah, I mean, let's just do it.
Yeah, let's just go ahead. We can introduce ourselves later. Okay, so we made some notes just so that we don't forget the things that we want to focus on.
Can't you just freestyle?
We can freestyle, but I don't want to forget
So okay, are we going to start mentioning all the things?
because we have to keep it to 10.
Okay, I mean, sure. Okay. This is one of the things I've learned. Just
Learned it.
always listen.
Because the title is 10 things. I know that there are more than 10, but we want to keep it to 10. I want to keep it to maybe the 10 that we feel like is most important.
Well, your 10 may not be my 10.
You know? Yeah, but let's just keep it to 10.
So how do we run this? Are you going to mention one, then I'll mention one? Are we just going
Yeah, we can do that.
Okay.
Okay, so you go.
Well, I would say this is a funny one, but it's true. I would say that if your wife says you have to beyond what your wife says, you have to read her body language to understand what she's exactly communicating to you. So so if you guys have an argument or you are disagreeing on something, or you don't even have to disagree on anything, but you just notice that she's a bit off, that's as a guy now, as a husband now, and you ask her, hey, are you okay? Is everything alright? And she says, yeah, everything's fine, I'm okay. No.
I feel like you're calling me out right now.
Everything is not fine, far from fine. So for your sanity, if you want peace, just insist and get her to sit down and let her know that you have her full attention and ask her what the issue is and listen. Yeah, listen. Yeah.
Okay.
And you know what they say about listening is that you don't listen to respond, you listen to understand.
Yes.
Yeah. So I think not in any order, but I would say that my first, because in any way, I mean, if you're married, if you're supposed to be married to someone for the rest of your life, and that means you're in a relationship with that person for the rest of your life. That means it also means that communication is essential, and on that, understanding that communication from your spouse helps you, respond appropriately.
Got it. Okay. So for me, I would say choose your battles wisely.
Okay.
That is to say, not everything is fight, right? And I think that idea or that opinion comes from the fact that I understand that you can't get anybody to change. Like, you cannot change anybody. Do you get? Because people are full-grown adults. People are set in their ways. They've probably been doing this since they were born. Maybe it's a thing that they do in their family. So it's very, very difficult to get people to change. You as a human being cannot get another person to change unless that person agrees that they want to change, right? So choose your battles wisely. Like, you don't have to argue about everything. Not everything has to be fight, right? There's some things that are not worth the argument, the heartache, the stress. right? So choose your battles wisely in the sense that there's something that you'll have to converse about and come to a conclusion. But it's not everything. There's some things that you just do waka pass.
So, but I'm pretty sure that the question someone may ask is, how do you determine which battles to choose and which battles to just let go? For you, from your experience now.
I think it would be like you have to decide what like the deal breakers are. For me, I will decide what the deal breakers are. So there are some things that I know that are not so important. Let me think of an example.
I was gonna say that. I should never be thinking about an example.
Okay, now let me think of it. Just a nice example. Okay. Well, I mean, a very basic example can be like telling you to move something, telling you to. Ooh, I know. Okay, so a good example would be like telling you to fix the light bulbs where they're bad. Right? And if I'm telling you to fix the light bulbs when they're bad, and I've told you once, I've told you twice, 3 times, 4 times, 5 times, 6 times, and we are going on and on and on. But the point is that I can actually be by myself. So why do I want to expel energy arguing over this? Like, oh, I told you to do it, you didn't do it, and then there's back and forth, and then feelings are hurt, and then you don't even get to enjoy your time with that person afterwards. I may as well just carry the stool and change it by myself because I can actually do it, right? So that's just for me. That's an example of not everything requires fights. Yeah.
Okay. Well, let me still dwell on that. Is that okay?
Yeah, sure, go for it.
So what if the battle is something that you feel is a showstopper for you, and you're already married, like you're married, and noticed something, and this is inside joke, so I hope. Please. Anyway, we'll tell you guys. It's okay to say.
No.
Something happened in the background, so
yeah.
as well. Okay. Anyway, yeah. So what if you notice something, and for you it's a showstopper or something that bothers you a lot? So how have you been able to manage dealing with that with me?
Okay. So maybe if it's a showstopper, like something that is important to me and the conversation is required, right? It's not something that I can just do and move on. It's something that maybe impacts my life, impacts our life as a family. And we'll have the conversation. You know, I'll have the conversation. I'll think about the best way to have the conversation so that you don't feel like I'm attacking you.
Okay.
And I will make sure that I align my points so that it's clear that it's for the betterment of the family.
So now, dwelling on that still, right? Do you think that in terms of that communication, has there been any learning points for you in terms of how you probably communicated something to me when we first got married, and I didn't receive the communication properly? And do you get what I'm saying? So, for example, you just said now, like, you see how you communicate it, and you spoke all those grammar. And for me to understand the importance, blah blah blah. So I'm saying it sounds like something you learned, right?
Oh, I see what you mean.
So was there a way you were communicating it initially that didn't resonate with me and I didn't respond well, blah blah blah?
Oh yeah, for sure. I think that so when we first got married, I feel like in our communication, I used to just say things how I felt there and then. And I don't even think I'm like there yet in terms of being able to manage how I share my feedback, right? Because sometimes I may not say anything, but my expression says it all, right? So I think that in the beginning, when I first got married, I didn't know how to share information. I didn't know how to. I just if I felt something, I'll just say it immediately, and I'll say it how it is, right? And I think that a lot of people have that mentality where they feel like, I'm very straightforward. I'll just tell you how it is, But I think I've learned at the end of the day, and I've grown, and the Holy Spirit has actually taught me, and not just even in marriage, but also in communication with other people. If you want you can pass on a message that actually helps people, that actually grows people, that actually helps them to be better person in love, right? Without making it seem as if, without being vengeful or being like attacking anything. So yeah.
Well, I guess it's probably emotions sometimes that makes emotion and trauma that make people just communicate rashly and all that, you know. And I think it's something that, because I also see that the way we communicate with like kids, like our kids, when they've done something wrong and you want to correct them, you know, as parents you've learned that there's a tendency for you to want to correct immediately out of your emotional anger, and you know, if you allow that anger subside, you're able to communicate the corrective measure in an objective way to the child. So absolutely, I mean, I just, because this is all about learnings, right? And being the one receiving the communication.
That's been fire. Right.
So for me, I think the initial parts or the initial issue I had with how you communicated something was, I think me, I try to be reasonable, and one thing I also had to learn from your communication was that I should not just look at the exact statements that you use to express whatever the issue is.
But look at the intent of the act.
Exactly. So because sometimes you can just come and say that, oh gosh, Daria, I'm so sad. You don't even care about me, or you don't even check on me. Oh, you never. And I think for me then it was, and I thank God for people like Pastor Sam, who, you know, really helped us understand that that's not what they mean. That's not what you guys mean. Like, you know, so for me it was I saw it as I missed the point you were trying to make, because I was seeing the, in quotes, betrayal in the exact expression. So for example, if you say, or if you come and say, Daria, you never help me with anything, I'm so unhappy, and you're actually saying that because of a recent event, what I am hearing is not the recent event and letting me understand how I could have helped, is that you are that word never.
I lost you at never.
Yes, you lost me at I was gone. Every other thing is after never. I didn't hear. So yeah, I think sometimes this little communication, you know, tips and issues is what actually escalates and causes a lot of irritation among people, amongst couples. That if you're able to get it right, it makes life a lot easier.
Okay,
but that part is actually, yeah, it's a very I feel it's a very elaborate conversation.
I hope so. We'll reach 10 today.
We'll try.
Okay, so you're number 3.
Okay, so I mean, for me, right, I don't want to talk about I'm being personal about these questions, and I'm not trying to make it like a classroom. I'm trying to make it as realistic as possible. I would say another thing I have learned is that, you know, as much as you're married and they say 2 shall become 1 or 2 has become 1, there is still a need for both individual participants, I'll use that word, to have some alone time, and most especially have that alone time to fellowship with God as well. So there's the alone time to fellowship with God, and there's a alone time to sort of meditate and just have your me time. Because I think I used to see it as 2 have become 1, so
you have to do everything
you have to do everything together. You know, you have to wear a coat together.
Do you know that we have never worn a coat? The only time.
What about that shots? One green and the other one purple. We did a video, we danced.
That's not a culture. I mean, like the anko, like traditional, like people when they get married.
You don't mean it.
Good job.
But we had one now.
It was just on our wedding day. It was just on the Sunday after the wedding, the one that we wore back.
Must have gone to church at some time.
No, man. Like we never wore the same thing. Like all this trad, that's the same fabric. We never did. It's never too late.
Okay, noted.
Mhm.
That's another. Just say noted. Don't argue.
Not like
Just say-
I'm not interested, but I'm just saying
Mm.
that we never did.
Mm.
Okay, go ahead.
All right. So yeah. So that's my point. Like I feel like yeah, couples should make sure they allow each other have some alone time. I mean, like we do sometimes. Alone time will be taking a retreat in a hotel and just studying, praying, sleeping, watching movies. You know, just alone time. I mean,
I
sometimes
think
it may be like having having. I know this is funny because I remember your friend. You said you met it.
I just wanted to say that I think that couples have to come to that place of that level of trust before they can decide to say, oh, I'm going for a retreat, I'm going to be in XYZ hotel for X number of days or for the weekend or something. I think that, yeah, please, disclaimer, couples need to,
Yeah, but
and your spouse
but
need
baby,
to
let
get
me
to,
quickly say something about that again, right? So yes, I understand the place of accountability, which is why maybe you're talking about sort of relates to accountability, right? You're saying that couples need to get to that place of trust. But for me, right, I feel like you being in a relationship with somebody and you have to and I hope I'm able to articulate this point very well. I have a problem with the fact that if I'm in a relationship with you, right? If you cannot trust me and I cannot trust you to be alone for hours, then I see it as a problem. I don't know if you get what I'm saying. Because there is literally no way you and your spouse or both of us or couples will always be together.
Yeah.
Do you get? So if logically speaking, it is impossible for the two people to be together all the time, why should it be a problem for individuals to sort of take time out?
Yeah, because they haven't gotten to that place of trust, or they haven't gotten to that level of trust for whatever reason. You get, just like that person that we're about, and we just both remember now. Couples need to be able to get to a certain place of trust for you to be able to say that. Because when I told this person that, oh, I'm going for a retreat, I'm just going to be in a hotel, I just want to have time to pray, to spend time with God, to just relax, be by myself, no mommy, you know. And she was like, so you're going to be in Lagos? I'm like, yeah. So you will just be in Lagos and you just carry yourself and go to, like, yeah. I was like, so your husband does it like you'll be in Lagos, then you just carry yourself and go to her. She was like, never. You get? So, I mean, people just need to come to that place of trust to be able to let that happen. And it doesn't even have to be, spending time with yourself doesn't even have to be as far as going to a hotel. You can be in your house and have a quiet time, just be in a particular room all day, let nobody disturb you, let nobody come into the room, just your personal time for yourself to be able to think, reflect, strategize, plan, and do whatever it is that you want to do. And this your point is going to lead me to my own point.
No, I'm not even done with my point.
Oh.
So sorry. So I'm just saying, like, what I've learned from it is this, right? I've learned that you know how they say people change.
But that's my point.
You see now, so I've become one.
Oh God.
Anyway, so you make your point. I'm not out as much as possible. I try not to intrude into your
Yes,
point.
don't say what I want to say.
So you know how they say people change, right? So I feel like sometimes what causes the change, there are different things that can cause people to change. But I feel sometimes the reason I realized that I need that time alone is to help me really come to the realization of certain habits I may have started that are not good, or certain habits I need to start cultivating because I want a certain outcome. And I really think, to be honest, I mean, it's a fact and it's a belief that God is constantly speaking to everybody, both whether you're a Christian or not Christian. You know, the love of God makes it such that God is constantly reaching out. You know, sometimes you may feel it's not, you may feel it's your conscience, but God's constantly reaching out. So that time without distractions, I should add, sort of helps to, you know, think and dwell and all. And it also helps for you to come to a realization of certain things that you are doing that is not really what you like doing. You are just doing it because maybe the people around you or the family around you and just made it like a thing.
Mm.
But you've had enough time to really
Really think.
reflect and like, nah, that's not really what I like to do. Nah, this is what I like to do. You get? Remember, just like yesterday, I was telling you that I want to start, I want to enroll in a type of.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I get you. And when I was saying that point sort of leads to my point. So what I was thinking on my next point was going to be that couples should learn to grow together. And in growing together, I don't just mean like growing old.
People are the one that say.
I don't just mean like growing old, no. But
But
like growing together in the sense that like we change. Do you get? So when we got married, I was like, we were much younger, and we're definitely not the people that we were when we got married, right? But there's that possibility that people can grow in different directions,
okay.
right? So in your growth journey, how are you carrying your spouse along? You know, dropping one or two things like, oh, I learned this today, oh, I learned that today, oh, there was this seminar, or oh, there was that workshop, you might want to attend, you might want to. Because if you don't grow in the same direction, that's where you find that people lose. They're not able to sustain that friendship. They're not able to sustain that connection because they've grown in different directions.
Yeah.
You know, so
Yeah. I mean, I totally agree.
and then on that one, in that one, like going in the same direction is also where, like when you talked about having that time to think introspectively. Oh yeah, so this is like another point. So that's one number now.
5, I
Fine,
think.
okay. So this is also in that place of people, like it's important to have that personal desire to want to be better. You know, because we had said before that you can't get any other person to change, right? So, but if individually I feel like I want to be a better person, I want to be a better mom, I want to be a better wife, I want to be a better entrepreneur, I want to be better whatever. If I'm making that steps, if I'm taking that steps to be better, then it's in whatever direction, as long as it's better, right? And I'm not saying to myself that, oh, this is how I am, this is you know, this is my bad behavior, this is how I am. No, like you can have bad behavior.
I don't
want to
pretend.
change.
That's just
I don't pretend exactly. That's just how I am. Like have the desire to change. I want to be better, and in you even changing and being better, you find that a lot of things that could have been a cause for arguments. So, for example, maybe, I remember how in the days of my makeup artistry, when we want to go out, and how I would take like hours to get ready, like hours, guys, because I'll do my makeup and I'll do it pro style kind of makeup, right? And you always used to complain like, hurry up, like let's go. And I remember at one point you know that I'm going to church in different cars, so that
which solved the problem.
Right? So that I will not delay and not everything. But if I had said to myself that I want to be better at managing my time, for example. So if I know that I'm going to spend X number of time, X hours getting ready, I'm going to wake up earlier so that I can get ready and I can be more on time. So in that being more on time, it solves that conversation of, baby, you need to hurry up, baby, we are running late, this and that and this and that. So
yeah, great point. And I think a follow up to that is
this another point?
Yeah, sort of another point.
Okay.
So which is that, and I think it's related to choosing your battles in a way, but let me just to make it anyway. And I'll still, if it's the same point, I'll lead to another one. Right. So you know how like this one about going, makeup and taking time, and at the end of the day, we decided to just use different cars to church. You know, it's funny how for me, initially, I used to be a bit judgmental of you not getting ready on time because my mind.
You guys, like, we need to just talk about this, okay?
Can I finish making my point?
Wait, before you make that point, right? Because Darren can get ready for Friday on Sunday. Do you understand what I mean? Like, he can get ready for Friday work, and what's going to wear to work, he can get it ready on Sunday. And like 5 days away.
Baby, it's not that deep. It's not that
can we
serious.
Relax?
It's not. I don't think it's that serious.
And for me,
I can say for Monday.
I rather pick my outfits that morning because It's like when I wake up, that's when I can tell you what I feel like wearing.
Okay.
I think it's easier for you because it's just suits. You're only suits, just to pick the
No,
suits
no,
and just
I'm
pick
saying
a shirt.
let's
and
stick to this church example, right?
Okay.
So for me, let me tell you how I used to think about it.
Mhm.
It's about going to the house of the Lord,
Hallelujah.
and as God's children, God's servants, we have to be there on time. You know, and as elders or leaders in the church, we have to show good example. So that's why it used to pay me. That can't you see all these valid points? I'm just, you know. But I realize that, of course, sometimes it's easy for people to judge from a place of your own strength or from your point of view, and you are not looking at the other person's place of or positioning and point of view. So, for example, for you now, I would say definitely you probably spend more time and you are probably more invested in also helping Annie wear the right dress, and probably Tony. I mean, yes, I do that as well, but you're probably invested in that. The nature of what you do may require you to sleep later on Saturday than me, and so many other reasons. So I realize that it's not fair for me to place that expectation. It's not just fair, and what's the point? Why, like we said, in life there are many other battles. So why waste our energy on?
Yes, just use two separate cars.
Yeah, I mean, God's giving you capacity, or just hitch a ride with someone, and that solves our problem completely. And let me quickly add, right? And another thing is that it's also important, and I think sometimes this is where I feel couples get it wrong. There is an expectation to look a certain way in front of society, more than the implication of what we just talked about and how it affects both couples internally. So if I was all about like, hey, what will people say
if you go to church in separate cars?
In separate cars.
I think we're fighting.
Yes. What will people say that where is the mommy of the house? Mommy of the house is not here. But I've also come to realize that this whole religious thing, like you know, you can't. I realize that I think religion, we force people to conform to certain things for our own sake, more than for the person's experience of God. So as long as the person is conforming to a particular order that we like, well, okay, person has changed. You get, and it's very, very. I think it's very in marriage as well. It applies a lot in marriage in so many other, not just even the religious ways now. In terms of how you want certain things you want your wife to do or your husband to do,
not doing.
And the person, and sometimes you want the person to do those things to appear with the right image in society. But personally, and I'm sure you share the same thoughts, is that I've come to realize that you can't change anybody. God Himself does not literally just change. You know, He has a relationship with you to help you see the best side of you, and based on that relationship, you would now gradually metamorphose into the best version of you. Sort of. So, yeah.
That's a very good point for that.